Okay, staying on the weekly schedule. Good morning. Happy Sunday. And welcome to Operations Rocks bi-weekly broadcast. Actually, it's more than bi-weekly. What the hell am I talking about? Welcome. As we continue this week's series discussing the parental rights and why I decided to sign off on my parental rights, which has become kind of a hot topic on some of my social media comments. I am reading you guys' comments. I realize that some of you out there may think I'm a coward. A very small, very small percentage of you have had some not polite words. Being mature, it is what it is. You can feel whatever way you want to feel about me because I know most of you that are commenting, I realize you don't know the whole context of the situation. You kind of only know what you're hearing in that video. You don't know that my child's mother falsely accused me of rape allegations. You don't know that my child's mother has had me falsely arrested numerous times and has admitted in recordings that she actually was jealous of my ex girlfriend. This is why she did it. You don't know for a fact, you don't know that my child's mother has actually admitted to intentionally keeping me away from the child to hurt me because she realizes that's the only way I'm going to deal with her is by dealing with the child. You don't know all of these things. You don't also know that this woman has signed an affidavit admitting to the fact that she tried to work with someone else who I have an order of protection with just to destroy me, to hurt me because she was jealous because I didn't want her. So many of the small percentage of people who have had some things to say, you don't know those things. So I'm not angry with you if you feel that I am being a coward deciding to leave this child where she is with a completely negligent junkie of a mother and go on with my life. I can kind of understand. You have the right to feel that way. I'm not angry with you. It's my life. It's the decision I've made. For any man out there who thinks that I'm wrong, despite the fact that I can prove and I know for a fact that this woman filed false rape allegations on me just to get a family court order of protection, I want to call you guys idiots. Because any man who would stay in a situation with a woman who is trying to imprison him using false rape allegations is a damn fool. Rape is the most serious crime other than murder that a man can be accused of in the United States of America. Rape is the only crime that you can be accused of after the fact, meaning that a woman can have sex with you consensually and then decide the next day that maybe it wasn't consensual, go to the police and you will be arrested. Rape, although it is a horrible crime, let me say that first, that I don't want to minimize anybody's victim experience who has been a victim of rape. It's very serious. But rape is one of those crimes that if you're accused of rape, it can destroy your life, especially when it's false. It doesn't even matter that it's false and that it's been proven untrue. The simple fact that you've been accused of it is enough to destroy your life. This is what my child's mother did to me. Was lie through her teeth and accused me of falsely sexually assaulting her 2 years before I ever even met her. People, when I read that allegation, that was serious. That was enough for me to sit back and say, whoa, wait a minute, dude. Is this truly worth it? Is this worth ruining your life pursuing a junkie, garbage, ghetto, trash ass chick, excuse my language, just to have a relationship with a child that if you continue to pursue the relationship with this child, you may very possibly destroy yourself in the future. And people, it was a hard decision. I'll be honest with you. It was not an easy decision. It's not something I just woke up one day and said, you know what? To hell with that. I'm going to sign over my custody rights. I'm tired of this. No, people, I didn't want to sign over my rights. Believe me, I did. I gave the mother ample opportunity to correct what she did before I finally made the decision. But here's the funny part, people. When someone truly wants to hurt you, it doesn't matter if you give them a way out because they're on a mission to hurt you. So, despite the fact that I had all this evidence against the woman, her master plan was to go lie on me to the family court to put a barrier between me and the child so she would be on top with a false order of protection again. My major problem with that became when I realized that the family court is so corrupt that despite the fact for a year, I mean, people, I have over 9 different court transcripts from the last year where the family court and I have been back and forth in litigation, and I've been asking for fact finding hearings to expose the fact that my child's mother admitted she lied on me, admitted she filed false police reports on me, and did the things she did to intentionally alienate me from the child. Not to get her in trouble, no, but to put it on the record so we could avoid what happened now. But the family court didn't want that. Because, see, the family court realized by granting me a hearing, a fact finding hearing, that would have to put the facts of my allegations of false police reports, fraud, deception to law enforcement. It would put all of it on the record, and my child's mother would lose all credibility. The family court knows the type of women that it empowers. Women like her, it loves them because they know she'll abuse process and keep them working. So they don't want to expose her to be a pathological liar. No, they want to protect her. So what they did is, even though this judge was aware that this woman, because the woman admitted it on the record, people, I have it in the transcript that I will show because the matter is not seen. The woman admitted on the record that she lied on me and filed false police reports on me. The judge never held her accountable. The judge orders her to effectuate the releases of my daughter's medical records and educational records because I am the one who put before the court that my child was autistic, not my child's mother, and damn sure not the the subject child's lawyer. Excuse me. My child's lawyer didn't even know she was autistic. I am the one who told the court, listen, my child is autistic. She's special needs. Snatching her from her father every time she gets an opportunity to know them is traumatic to her. What are we doing? Suddenly now the court's aware that the child is autistic. The court was never aware before I put it before the court, and I have that in the transcript to prove it. So, people, I've been trying to do the right thing, but what I finally realized, because I have matured greatly in the last 2 years, is that some fights you can't win on a level that is corrupt. And I'm not going to say that there are not other levels that are corrupted, but you can't assume that you can play a game and expect to win in fairness when the people who are playing the game are cheating. And that's what the family court does. The family court cheats. The administrators work against you. The court appointed attorneys work against you. The judges work against you. People, it is a trap to trap one parent in the system and subject them to the other parent and the state. All they care about is money. They care about the litigation created by the false petitions because it keeps the court sheriffs working. It keeps the court clerk working. It keeps the court staff working, the judge working. It keeps the process going. So this is why there are thousands of BS litigated TPOs in the family courts of every jurisdiction you can imagine, because they just want to keep the litigation going to keep funneling into the system that destroys families. It doesn't actually help it. I tried everything I could, people. I really did. I put in petitions to enforce the order. I filed orders with the supervising judge of Kings County. People, I have effectively become a family lawyer fighting for my child. And people, despite the fact that I won every petition, that I won every order, that I had substantial, hard, undeniable evidence that the mother falsified process and intentionally alienated me, the family court of Brooklyn did everything in their power to keep that woman free from liability. And then, because I sued them, because remember, people, if you've been watching, I announced that I sued the Brooklyn Family Court months ago, and I did sue them. And I'm glad I did it, people, because they knew I was suing them, they allowed her to put a false TPO on me to try to damage my credibility. So I finally was able to obtain a civil attorney to take this case over by the name of Tyrone Blackburn, who I do know from another matter. He says to me, he looks at my case one day and he says, yo, bro, they fucking violating the hell out of you. How are they doing all this to you? And I said, I know they are. This is why I filed the lawsuit. So what he did was he read my notice of claim. He saw what the attorney and my child's mother did to me. He said, yo, they just tried to frame you on a false arrest and discredit you for the lawsuit. Oh, hell no. So people, God is amazing. Guess what? This man decided to take my civil action against the Brooklyn Family Court because, in essence, the Brooklyn Family Court has violated my procedural due process for over 3 years in many ways. One, by assigning me and my child's lawyer the exact same attorney who falsified process and evidence in order to gain information on me to benefit her case, which is complete professional misconduct. Two, when the judge lied on the record and denied the fact that she assigned us both the same attorneys and then tried to dismiss all of my actions against my child's mother in favor of her just to minimize my rights as a litigant. Three, when the new judge that was assigned after I filed orders to show cause to remove my child's lawyer and to remove the judge who violated my civil rights, I filed a petition, people. I got them removed from the case. A new judge was assigned and she was assigned a new attorney. But people, like I said, corruption has to go throughout the whole system. Every judge in the Brooklyn Family Court is corrupt. Everyone in the family part is corrupt, people. Every attorney that sits on the panel of the Brooklyn Family Court is part of the manipulation that keeps the litigation going. They only care about rescheduling themselves. My attorney had an excellent description for them. He called them bottom feeders. And basically, that's what they are, these public defenders and these family court attorneys. They fucking bottom feeders, people. They live parasitically off of our pain and disruption in our families. This is what they love, the litigation. People, when you go to family court and you're sitting there, 20 minutes of it is them scheduling appearances for themselves for new dates that they can build the state, people. It's a complete racket. This is what I've been going through for years. And this guy actually saw it, people, because he saw how fast that the court was willing to act against me for completely unsubstantiated allegations of domestic violence. People, the woman said I raped her in 2018. 2018 was 7 years ago. She had no physical proof, and I have substantial evidence to prove that I didn't even meet her until 2020. But people, the court granted this order of protection to have me falsely arrested. People, looking at that, looking at the fact that this woman was willing to accuse me of false allegations of rape and sexual assault, people, I have to be honest with you. I valued my freedom, my life, and my peace of mind more. I valued the fact that I would not be in jail. And I made the decision that, you know what? You can be no use to your child in jail over the messed up record for raping the mother when you never touched her. So maybe this woman's jealousy, maybe this woman's hurt at the fact that she realizes I'm superior to her and will never touch her disgusting self again, has so damaged her that she's decided to try to destroy her child's father socially and economically and whatever she can do because she realizes how much of a loser she actually is. And by destroying me, what she does is keep me below her or at least on her level so I can never be too far high above her. Now, my child's mother is considerably younger than me, so she must be pretty stupid if she thinks this is going to work. But as you can see, it's not because she didn't know me well enough to know that I would be mature enough to make the right decision. And the right decision was to forego all interest in the child. If a woman is willing to lie on a man and get you falsely arrested for sexual assault charges that you've never done, people, I think it's time that you wake the hell up and say, is this worth it? No one needs to be dealing with false sexual assault charges. People, that is incredibly serious. And I don't personally feel that custody of a child is worth that. It's not, people. Custody of your children isn't worth going to prison based on lies that the system will not investigate, people. It's not. Your best option is to step back, relinquish control, and figure out how to do it another way. And people, I had already planned for this months ago. So, people, it's safe to say now, because it's a couple of days after the event, one of the actions I sued for in federal court in the Eastern District of New York was the custody of my child. Now, it is a complex matter. The federal courts don't often interfere with family courts matters unless there's constitutional or procedural due process violations that a litigant can substantiate through substantial evidence. People, what have I just told you? Have I not just told you that the Brooklyn Family Court violated my procedural due process by assigning myself and my child's mother the same lawyer? People, that's a huge procedural due process violation. Have I not just told you that I have transcripts where a judge lied on the record and claimed that she didn't do this? People, that's another huge procedural due process violation. People, have I not told you that the attorney that was assigned by the family court for my child's mother actually conspired with her to, to have me falsely arrested by issuing an order of protection that I was never served with, although I was a pro se party to the case and the court had a mandatory obligation to contact me? Another procedural due process violation. People, so because of this, even though I signed off my rights in Brooklyn Family Court, I'm totally going for them in federal court, and I'm probably going to get them. Because see, here's the thing: federal courts in New York don't don't assign corrupt family court lawyers. No, my child's mother is gonna need a competent attorney, and her attorney in federal court is not gonna be as competent as my attorney I have right now. So people, it might take 2 years, it might take 3 years, it might take 5 years, but people, this woman in the long run, her attorney in the Brooklyn Family Court, they're gonna pay for what they did, because see, I know for a fact that they violated my federal due process rights with regard to the 14th Amendment. And people, instead of just talking, because again, I don't like to just talk, I'm into the law. I'm trying to become a lawyer now. And it's very late in my life, people, but I believe it can be done. We got to remember some things about life when we think about it being too late to do anything. Colonel Sanders, the guy that started KFC, didn't open his first KFC until he was 60. Ray Kroc, who started McDonald's, didn't open the first franchise till he was 50, people. That white chick, what's her name, that wrote the Little House on the Prairie book, Laura Ingalls. She didn't write those first series of books till she was 65. People, George R. R. Martin, I believe he wrote the first Game of Thrones in his 40s, people. And guess what? Julius Caesar crossed the fucking Rubicon when he was 49. Why can't I go to law school in my 40s? People, I think I can. So I've decided to do that because I realized that the true enemy of minorities is law enforcement and the judicial system. It's meant to be in place to help us, but it's really used to control us and oppress us. And people, I'm tired of that. So I've decided to educate myself and go forward in life so things like what have happened to me that destroyed my child's relationship won't happen to somebody else, at least if I can find them before it happens. As far as I'm concerned with my daughter, I've missed all of her toddler years. I barely heard her speak. She's never said my name. Um, I never saw her walk. I never saw her born. I never got to experience anything of that. So this woman completely robbed me of all of that experience. This is why now I'm so dispassionate and cold about it, because I realize what this woman has actually done to me, and I realize how inferior of a woman she actually is to even allow me to be in a situation like this. So yes, people, I signed to sign over my rights, but what I'm about to show you is a legal explanation of what I was just saying with regard to the federal courts. Because see, although this woman has done the things that she's done, I still have an option on these. And that option is that I can sue her in federal courts and display the procedural due process violations that this woman has actually done. And in doing so, let me change that screen. I don't really like that. I don't like that screen. I like that screen. That works. And in doing so, get custody of my daughter back. Maybe not now, but soon enough. So let's get down to it, people. Let's read what the federal courts have to say about my question. First, let's go to the federal question. If due to procedural due process violations and misconduct of the Brooklyn Family Court, the natural father of a child withdraws all petition and relinquishes rights to the child to the mother, can he obtain those rights back within relief sought by federal actions against the court and the mother for fraud, conspiracy, and 1983 civil rights violations relating to his rights as the child's natural father and the 14th Amendment? So, people, that was my question. Can I, as the natural father of a child, sue the Brooklyn Family Court and the mother for fraud, conspiracy, and 1983 violations as it relates to my 14th Amendment of the Constitution rights pertaining to my child, her education, her rearing, and her upbringing? This is what LexisNexis had to tell me. You got to get real if you want to do something in life, people. The tools you use will provide you with success. So I try to use the best tools I can afford. Under New York state law, a natural father who has relinquished his parental rights may face significant legal challenges in seeking to regain those rights, particularly if the relinquishment was voluntary. Federal actions under 42 United States Code 1983 are for alleged violations of constitutional rights, such as procedural due process, under the 14th Amendment may provide a potential avenue for relief if the father can demonstrate that his rights were violated by the state actors or through a conspiracy involving state actors and private individuals. However, the success of such claim depends on specific legal standards and the sufficiency of the allegation. To establish a procedural due process violation under 1983, the father must show that he was deprived of a constitutionally protected interest, such as parental rights, without adequate procedural safeguards. People, I was. Courts have held that the procedural due process requires an opportunity granted at a meaningful time and in a meaningful manner for a hearing appropriate to the nature of the case. And that's Alroy Boyce, the City of New York Department. What is that? New York Law Department, 69 Federal Supplement, 3rd Division, 393. If the father voluntarily relinquishes rights without coercion or procedural irregularities, it may be difficult to establish a due process violation. Now, people, I've had numerous due process violations and procedural irregularities that have finally brought me to the point where I was reached a breaking point, people. And I said, no, if you're allowing this woman to put false allegations of rape on me, after you know she's already admitted to lying on me to the police, to lying on me to social workers, and you would allow this, people, I'm done. I should not be subjected to a court that does not see me as an equal citizen and value me as a black man and an equal citizen enough to provide me with equal protection under the law. So, people, this is why I signed off, because I knew I could not win in Brooklyn Family Court. But I stood a better chance in the Eastern District Federal Courts in New York, and that's why I sued Brooklyn Family Court. Additionally, claims of conspiracy under 1983 and 1985 require specific allegations or an agreement between state actors and between actors and or between state actors and private individuals, my child's attorney and my child's mother. Because even though my child's attorney claimed, not my child's attorney, my child's mother's attorney, excuse me, and my child's mother attorney and her, because even though he might be a private attorney, he's contracted by the state to represent her in the thing. The state referred him to her, and he is working with the judge and the child's lawyer. The three of them work together without contacting me as a pro se litigant. The child's attorney and my child's mother's lawyer have had more ex parte meetings than I've ever had in court meetings with either of them. They refuse to talk to me outside the court. They refuse to respond to my email because I've sued them and put procedural due process violations on them. The truth, people. So I believe I have a very strong case in the federal courts to present the fact that the council, the court, and my child's mother conspired to intentionally deprive me of my 14th Amendment protected rights to raise and be part of my child's life. She can't say I didn't take care of my child, people. As I showed you in my last broadcast, people, I was supporting my child. I was thousands of dollars in, and we're not even halfway through the year yet. Some men have children with women and don't give a child $10,000 in 20 years of the child's life. People, I've paid for autism treatment, clothing, food, um, individual money for the mother to do things for herself. People, $6,000 in 6 months. People, I forwent my own legal defense to help my child become a better person and function through her disability. But this woman claims that I'm an unfit parent. No, people, and I can establish that in the federal court. In the Brooklyn Family Court, I would have never gotten this opportunity, people, because the judge knows that she made a mistake. So now she's in cleanup mode, as they say. The judge knows there's so many procedural due process violations that the Brooklyn Family Court is in jeopardy of a federal lawsuit. So the judge is playing cleanup, trying to discredit me so much. So when the lawsuit does drop in the federal courts, they have an argument to say that I'm the problem. Now, unfortunately, it's out of my hands. It's in the hands of a very competent civil attorney who's going to take over and make sure the Brooklyn Family Court pays for what they did to me. Um, and I only actually I'm talking too much because I don't even think I'm done yet. Yes, there was two more paragraphs. In cases involving fraud or misconduct by the mother or the court, the father would need to demonstrate how these actions directly violated his constitutional right and were part of a conspiracy involving the state actors. Without such evidence, claiming under 1983 and 1985 are likely to succeed. People, I told you already. I contacted my child's mother's attorney about my child being suspended and being denied uh, access to the exchange. I told him that I intended to expose her criminality and her online prostitution and her drug use, and she and he conspired to put an order of protection against me with completely unsupported allegations, and then brought it to the judge named in the lawsuit who conspired to have me arrested by issuing the order of protection. And people, that's a conspiracy right there. Attorney, civilian, judge, three actors, two of them state officials, two of them in different capacities of the state function. People, that's a conspiracy under 1985 right there. This girl is stupid. Finally, even if a procedural or substantive due process violation is established, the father would need to show that the violation caused the deprivation of his parental rights, and the relief sought, such as reinstatement of parental rights, is appropriate under these circumstances. Courts are generally reluctant to interfere with the family court decisions unless there is clear evidence of constitutional violation. And people, that is a fact that I have clear evidence that my constitutional rights were violated by the Brooklyn Family Court for at least 2.5 years through numerous differing offenses. So I'm quite confident that even though my child's mother has pretty much done me dirty, lied through her teeth, and falsely accused me of raping her dirty self, that I can get my child back in the future. It won't probably be the near future, but it'll be sometime in the future. And that's fine for me. By then, I'll be more established. I'll be able to pay someone else to pick her up, so I have no contact with the mother. I'll never have to deal with the mother. People, I'll be able to directly deal with her, hopefully, because she'll develop and become a properly functioning young lady. Now, the next thing I want to read is another answer from ChatGPT. Actually, this is Claude AI. And the question I asked Claude AI was this: if due to procedural due process violations and misconduct of the Brooklyn Family Court, the natural father of the child withdraws all petitions and relinquishes all rights to the child to the mother, can he obtain those rights back within relief sought by federal actions against the court and the mother for fraud, conspiracy, and 1983 civil rights violations relating to his rights as the child's natural father and the protections of the 14th Amendment? This involves complex constitutional and family law issues that require specific legal analysis based on your particular circumstances. Potential avenues that courts have recognized. Parental rights restorations. Courts have sometimes allowed challenges to relinquish based on fraud, duress, or lack of informed consent. Due process violations can potentially provide grounds for relief. The timing and circumstances of the relinquishments matter sufficiently. People, how do I not meet the statutory requirements of all of these people? People, I was under duress. I was being falsely accused of rape, socially slandered, falsely arresting people. How is that not duress on a man who's doing nothing to a woman but telling her he wants nothing to do with her? People, how are my procedural due process violations not did not happen, excuse me, if the judge is assigning both parties the same counsel and then denying it on the record to protect the image of the court and the credibility of the court? Huge procedural due process violation. Timing and circumstances. People, when did I do this? After the last time she filed this order of protection, and I realized that the court was refusing to provide me with the same protections under the 14th Amendment's Equal Protection Clause as it is the mother. Because if you can issue the mother an order of protection for lying and providing no proof of a sexual assault that happened years before the father can establish they even met, then you're biased and you're filing unjust and illegal order for protection. So people, I needed to step the hell out of it. And that's what I did. Federal civil rights claims, Section 1983 claims can address constitutional violations by state actors. Procedural due process violations in family court proceedings can be actionable. 14th Amendment protections for parental rights are well established. Important limitations, very strict time limits often apply. People, I already filed, so we good to go. Courts balance parental rights against the child's best interest and stability. People, I'm far more stable than my child's mother. I'm fucking 30 times more intelligent than her. One, I'm the one who took the educational prowess to try to help my child learn to speak, buying the iPad, paying for speech therapy. How am I not in the best interest of this child other than the woman? The only reason that was never brought before the court is because the judge was so corrupt, the judge would never grant me the hearing to prove my parental fitness. The only thing they kept doing was scheduling me for settlement conferences. People, I requested fact-finding hearings to prove that my child's mother had violated the court's procedures and was pursuing me in vexatious litigation, and to assess my parental fitness as an independent parent. And people, they were never granted because the court knew, one, my child's mother was a liar and I was going to win that fact-finding hearing. And two, that if they investigated my living circumstances and my ability to take care of the child, they would determine that I was more fit than the child. So what they did was deny me the two hearings that would have got me my child years ago, people, because years ago I was more stable than my child's mother. My child's mother lived in a fucking shelter, people. How is she more stable than me? But people, she uses the child because the child gets her benefits, her bum ass won't get without a job. Excuse my language, people. Obviously, I'm not a fan of this one. Let me see. Critical considerations. Federal courts are generally reluctant to interfere with ongoing state family court proceedings. People, that's why I withdrew my petitions and I ended the matter in state court. Because by ending the matter in state court, now the matter in federal court is open, it's unrestricted, and we can go, people. This was why I ended my matter in the Brooklyn family court. That and the fact that she falsely accused me of rape, yes. But I already knew that I could end my matter in the Brooklyn family court. That's why I was willing to settle in the Brooklyn family court with my child's mother and pursue the allegations against the court in federal court because I knew the court would not allow me to prove this woman lied. Brooklyn family court anyway, but the federal courts would, because me proving that this woman lied and that the court knew she lied and that the court failed to take action substantiates my discrimination claims, my procedural due process claims, my equal protection claims. It substantiates everything I'm putting in the lawsuit. So of course that's the arena that I would want to go into the federal courts. The hell with the Brooklyn family court, they're corrupt. They don't want to do anything. So given all of this information and my newfound legal knowledge, audience, I decided to just end the matter, sign off on my parental rights, and people, guess what? Deal with the matter in federal court. She won't have a corrupt family court. See, family court is different, people. At least family court in New York State is different from the federal court. See, in family court, you're going to get a free lawyer. And that lawyer is going to be part of a family court panel of lawyers that work with the judges to keep the family court system of Brooklyn, the Bronx, Queens, all in order and all in check for themselves. The panel consists of 5 to 6 lawyers that handle all the cases, meaning literally every time a judge gets an order, the judge assigns it to this case. So this lawyer is being paid by billing the state for the case that the judge is granting, even though the judge knows it may not be just. This is the process with them. But see, in the federal courts, it's different. The federal courts don't have a panel of federal public attorneys. You know, like they're not going to have that. Now she's going to be able to apply for pro se litigation, people, but it's going to be a bullshit public defender. It's going to be a bullshit civil attorney who doesn't know how to deal with the matter. And he's not going to be able to sit back and manipulate a federal judge the same way that this corrupt family court was. The federal judge is going to look at the statute. The federal judge is going to look at constitutional law. The federal judge is going to look at the circumstances of the case and base them towards the statute and the constitutional law. And she's going to have a problem. So, people, I might not have my child for a couple of years. It's fine, people. I wasn't having her already, people. I wasn't getting access to her already because of what the mother was doing. So, yes, it does pain me, people, but I am quite confident that in the end of my legal battle, my legal war against the family courts, that I'm going to win. And by the end of this, I'll probably have full custody of my child because my child's mother's a loser. She doesn't want to do anything on herself. She's a drug addict. She's an online prostitute. This is what she did. And the only way we can get past certain things that embarrass us in our life is to speak the truth about it. And I can speak the truth about what this woman is because it's something I had to deal with, unfortunately, having impregnated this woman. And that was a horrible mistake made in grief because I found my mother dead about 3 weeks before it actually happened. It's not an excuse. A man should control his penis. I should have learned better, and people are paying for that horrible mistake by this garbage woman who chooses to use a child as a leverage piece because she's a loser. So, people, what I have decided to do, like I said, is sign over my rights and just deal with the matter in federal court. Now, yeah, I signed over my rights right now. I might not get them back. If it's not meant for me to get them back, people, it's not part of God's plan. And I won't. I'll wait till the child turns 18. She'll hit me up. She'll say, hey, I'm your daughter. I'll say, oh, my God, can we meet? Hopefully, we can have a connection. My mother won't spoil her and make her hate me by thinking I abandoned her. I'll try to explain my best as best I can. If she doesn't choose to accept that explanation, that's her right. She can go on with her life, and I'll go on with mine. But I'm not going to allow any child to determine my future in my life, people. I'm not going to do that. I refuse. And I feel good about that decision. I'm sleeping better. I'm happier, people. For the first time, I would say in like 2.5, 3 years, I can genuinely say I'm happy right now. And for the people who hate me watching this, I know you hate to hear the fact that a motherfucker's happy. But yes, I am. I have peace. I'm not stressing about my daughter anymore because it's something that I know I can't control right now. So I've let that aspect of everything go and focus on my life, focus on rebuilding the things that I've lost, fighting the women who have used the family courts and criminal court systems to deprive me of my peace, my reputation, my freedom, and my finances, people. I think I deserve the right, even though I might be a male, I think I deserve the right as the only person here who has actually been granted a trial order of protection after a trial, people. A trial order of protection, which means orders of fucking evidence was presented to a judge. A judge saw this evidence and said, this person is guilty. People, I am the only one in my situation who went to a trial and has an order like that. But I'm treated the worst, people. I have women who go to court in police stations and lie through their teeth on me, and I'm the one with an actual trial order from a judge that says that these women have lied on me and these women have done horrible things to me. People, if I don't have the right to speak about domestic violence and racial inequality and racial injustice, people, I don't know who the hell does. But I feel good, people, because I realize this thing has just made me a better person. Again, I do not feel any sympathy with the the decision I made because I know it was the right decision. And in that, people, I get to move forward and acknowledge, getting more experience in the federal courts, so that hopefully, if I happen to meet someone years down the line, if I do get the ability to practice, and they say, "Hey, listen, this is what's going on," it'll have happened to me, and I can easily get them through the process, and that's my mission. So, people, on behalf of Justice and Operation Rock, I have to go to the gym. But thank you for watching. To everyone out there who still wants to assume that I am just a weak man because I forwent my child, the rights to my child, well, I might be, but I'll be a weak man free than a strong man in jail. I like that, people. I'd rather be a weak free man than a strong man in jail for something I did not do, especially raping a woman that I never touched and didn't even want to have sex with. Definitely. I would much rather be considered by people I don't even care about to be a weak man because I decided to cut off a relationship with a woman who put false rape allegations with me and not take care of that child than be a strong man who sought to be in my child's life only to be arrested for a false allegation and do 5 years in prison. Not me, people. On behalf of Justice and Operation Rock, this is Clayton signing off. Thank you for listening, and we'll be back next Wednesday, probably Thursday.